like no standardized criteria to ascertain that. Like, because everyone is saying no one is employable, but where the people are actually going then? Yeah. So, let's start. So we should start. Okay. So being an engineer yourself and having steered important and tactical ministries like defense, how do you propose to address the aspirations of over 10 lakh engineering graduates coming out of the 4500 odd colleges every year, and when some estimates say that only 2.2 lakh of them get employed in the organized sector like IT, telecom, core engineering, etc.?
I think at the outset, I would like to say that we really need to pull up our entire engineering education and gear them towards, better standards. And I think that can only happen if they volunteer to accredit themselves and follow all the norms that are normally, enlisted by AICTE. And for a start, I would urge all the engineering colleges to start doing that, because eventually what is important is the output that is coming out of the engineering college, and that is one of the things that I would urge the engineering colleges to do. Parallelly, they also have to focus on quality faculty and quality labs, and even if it involves capital expenditure, that's a conscious decision that the engineering colleges and the managements have to make, and I would urge them to do that.
So we do have a wide sector of 2.6 crore MSMEs. Some studies say that European Union economy is more dependent on the MSMEs for their growth. So how can this vast pool of MSMEs can be leveraged for employing these engineering graduates?
I think even in our country, the base of the MSMEs is the supporting structure for most of our research and also manufacturing. Going by my experience in the Ministry of Defense, I know that in our research programs and also in our manufacturing programs, there's quite a spread of MSMEs which are involved with the manufacturing aspects and the research aspects. And I think this linkage needs to be strengthened. We have to identify these MSMEs which are of a high standard, encourage them into relevant clusters, and thereby strengthen the ecosystem that supports a particular manufacturing sector, whether it's defense or heavy engineering or depending on the application. And I think that is the way to go about it. I see a huge potential for MSMEs, and I think it is imperative on all of us to strengthen those linkages.
So recently the Ministry of Rural Development had a very unique initiative whereby 150 youngsters were selected for Prime Minister Rural Development Fellowships. Now, with over 400 districts of the country having at least one engineering college, students and faculty members can be engaged with various local development programs which require technical know-how to a significant degree. So would MHRD be open to take up such a policy initiative?
Yeah, I think MHRD is one ministry where we can afford to be open-minded on a lot of initiatives. And I think which initiative would be relevant or which initiative would be useful to the local community is something that I think the engineering colleges themselves should take the initiative about. It should not be dictated from here. I think they have to be creative enough to identify what is relevant to that particular area and act on that.
So, but at the local level, until or unless there is a policy doctrine supporting that, for example, many of the proactive institutions want to work with various e-governance projects, but somewhere or the other, because of lack of an institutional framework, like students in their third year and second year, they are quite free and a lot of creative energies are there. So some of the base level works can be done by those students, and that will also address the problem of employability.
No, but I would suggest that the initiative be taken by the particular college or the cluster of colleges, because the innovation has to come from there and the initiative has to come from there.
And if a proposal,
and we could, from the ministry, try and identify some of those which have evolved well, and maybe we can dish out an award
Okay.
for those projects which have done well, thereby creating the incentive
Okay.
and the recognition. But I would urge the local community of colleges, the engineering colleges which exist in a particular district, to take such initiatives.
Okay, fine, sir. So moving forward, like engineering profession in India is not regulated as that of the chartered accountants, doctors, and lawyers. There is a draft engineers bill which has been prepared by the Engineering Council of India to redress this vital gap and is pending with the ministry. So, what would be your priority in taking it forward?
I haven't seen the bill, but if the council feels that there is a necessity, let me have a discussion on that. But every profession need not be a regulated profession. But if it does, help improve standards, I will be glad to take it forward.
So, like on the contrast, like we do have, like there is a general feeling like the engineering education per se goes through a whopping regulation without much backward and forward integration with the schools and the industry as such. Recently, a very senior official of the AICT said that 90% of the colleges are flouting the norms. So, how are you seeing up opening up the higher education sector vis-a-vis regulations are concerned?
I think the way the higher education is rolling out in the country, it's happening at a pretty fast pace. And I think it is important to bring in accreditation and also regulation, only to ensure quality and standards. And there I would urge the states also to cooperate on this aspect. I think the All India Council of Technical Education has been doing a sterling job in qualifying the institutions and ensuring standards are met. Nevertheless, I understand that as far as technical education is concerned, there is a shortage of about a lack of teachers and instructors. And I think that is a serious capacity shortage. We have to work on this and parallelly work on strengthening standards in institutions and bringing in these bills related to the accreditation will be a priority from our ministry so that it can be a guiding force towards ensuring quality in our higher educational institutions.
So you talked about focusing on moral education in the curriculum to reinforce value systems in the younger generation. How do you propose to instill these intangible variables like in today's era?
See, today, unlike in the past, there are multiple influences on a child. And technology is a big influence. Television is a big influence. And what they observe in a fast-moving world is definitely a strong influence. Peers are another influence. So the influence of the parents and the teachers have become a subset of the influences that a child is going through. So it is important to harmonize this so that the right things are watched or the right technologies or the right influences are appreciated by the child. So moral education is definitely an indicator towards these things. And how we utilize all this and bring the original mentors, namely the parents and the teachers, to influence the child in a positive manner is what moral education is about. And that is where I think we should build the guidelines. And I think a beginning has been made by NCERT in working with some of the schools. But I hope we can reinforce it in other ways.
So anyways, it's a fantastic idea, like the minister on the day of taking up is emphasizing that in itself has a lot of reinforcement on that. So the financing of higher technical education has seen a major shift in the last decade, like from being dominated by government support to that of a purely self-financing mode. Now the recent hike in the IIT fee has been an indicator of this policy shift finally. Now instead of the question somewhere goes like instead of evoking an enabling ecosystem to retain talent in indigenous institutions like defense, space, industrial research, etc., of the best brains coming out of the top institutions, the policy is probably alienating the best brains to further look for greener pastures because it's all about money, like paying a whopping salary, and then re- how do you propose to balance between this class and the mass, between the obligation of the government to educate all of them and also to invest in the higher education and retaining the best talent in the country?
See, I think talent can only be retained by the environment that you create. Definitely, the compensation that people are getting in the numerous opportunities that are opening up professionally is definitely a draw, and we cannot fight that. But at the same time, I think not everybody is looking for monetary compensation. They're also looking for job satisfaction, and they're also willing to contribute to the growth of the country. But I think the deterring factor is the environment that they have to work in. If there is too much, it's too stifling, it proves to be a deterrent. So it has to be an enabling environment which will allow their personal and professional growth. And at the same time, if it is coupled with the feeling that they are contributing to the growth of the nation, I think it would be a great environment to work in. And I think our critical areas, whether it's defense or atomic energy or scientific research, I think we have to strive to create that kind of an environment in these places. And that is one sure shot way of retaining talent. And if you look at defense especially, I think there's a lot of qualified people who have been working abroad who are looking forward to coming and doing something to the nation. So if we can sort of give them suitable challenges and create the environment for them to contribute, I'm sure that would be a win-win for the country.
So are you planning some policy measure in the forthcoming Pravasi Bharatiya Divas?
No. I would be talking with all the relevant people, because I think one of the goals of the Ministry of HRD is to create an open but an enabling environment whereby we can bring in new technologies into education. We can bring in new methodologies for learning. We can make the learning environment more interesting, and that is the only way we can contribute to the growth of the nation.
Fine. So today, with the advent of digital learning technologies, technology is being seen as a panacea for all the ills which are facing the education sector as such. Now, this view is being perpetuated somewhere at the cost of the teaching fraternity, which has somehow missed the level of stature and respect, and which is accorded to it in other advanced countries. So what is your take on making the profession of teaching more lucrative and one of the most sought after in the country?
I think that would be one of our priorities, to make sure that the pedestal on which teacher sits is again strengthened. But nevertheless, I think in today's age, we cannot discount the power of technology. But it cannot be a substitute to a teacher, but it should be a complement to what a good teacher can do. And I think we should encourage the utilization of technology to make teaching more effective.
Sure. So finally, what's your personal vision, like you see for India, and what innovates you to get up in the morning and spell you to work relentlessly till late evenings?
I think I look at India as a challenge in terms of when you look at the potential demographic dividend. And I think it is not only education and empowering them with knowledge, but I think it is equally important, if not more, to enable this young population with the right value system. Not only their personal value system, but their rights and responsibilities for a growing nation and to an evolving world. And I think that is where our education and the knowledge building should be focused on. And I would like to work in that direction.
So what message would you like to give to the youth of the country? And how can they channelize their creative energies in the rightful direction, given all the constraints and restraints which the country is facing as of now?
I think the environment, we are in a moment of transition, and one of the important things is to be optimistic, and the other thing is to leverage on all your strengths, not only for yourself, but towards building this nation. And I'm sure that we can do it together.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot for your time.
Great, sir. Sir, along with that, as you spoke about that, the entire edupreneurs, the owners who set up engineering colleges and universities, so we kind of taken an initiative to ask them to come forward. We also asked state technical universities to suggest 5 to 6 names who have kind of helped in transforming the engineering education in India. And 100 of these people we are trying to felicitate on February 1st. So this is something that we're thinking, we calling this as Edupreneurs Conclave. And that is one session which talks about regulation of higher education, higher technical education in India, which will be having VCs as the panelist, and one is future of learning, and then we'll be felicitating 100 edupreneurs across the India. So we're just wondering if first February schools.
I don't know where I will be. You have put in a request, but
They gave it
so many
also,
things.
Right.
Okay.
Of course.
Right. But I'm just feeling, instead of showing the density of the districts,
Sir.
what if we just focus on the districts where the colleges are doing well, by reputation, whatever, they say, okay,
Sure, sir.
you know what I'm saying? Instead of doing everything, you just show you can indicate numbers, but just focus on some of these districts which are where the engineering colleges are doing very well. And also, you can sort of rate them according to the industry linkages, I mean, industry surrounding industry, so that, there's already an environment there,
So
maybe
in fact,
things
we
like
are
that.
trying to build up a framework on which we will build up further layers, as you're suggesting. Like we have done a whole lot of engineering clusters of India again on a map. So that's coming in our next issue. So we will map it with the colleges present in that region.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
that's
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thanks.
So just a release photograph of this.
This hasn't been released, is it?
Yes, sir.
You want to stand here?
So can I take
The location
one
is okay?
picture of yours, with the background for the cover page?
Yeah.
There you can do it. There. The background is going on.
You want me to stand here?
Yeah.
I can stand here.
Ah. Good. You can do it. Yeah.
Get the planes.
So can you just stand there? The background.
Madam, come.
How long have you been learning this bike?
2.5 years now. Now we are a decent 18-member team.
Okay. But maybe you must improve the layout. It looks too cluttered. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Should we adjust the opening page?
Yes, sir.
Sort of cluttered with too many things. It should be just one clean thing.
In fact, sir, from being a tabloid, which was known as Uttar Pradesh Technical University Watch, we were running tabloids initially. Then we moved to a.
Okay.
This is something that we kind of launched on from some launched on
Yeah, okay.
car sticker which says.
Okay, okay. You want me to keep, that's okay. Do you want me to keep this?
Yes.
Yes.
It gives an idea of the engineering.
Yeah.
How many are there totally?
Sir, 4,500 around.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thank you, that's very kind of you.